Hi, everyone. It's Dr. Z. Welcome to another episode of Next Up Narcissism. Today, I'm going to get really specific and talk about something that is a behavior that I hear from patients routinely, and that is driving in the car with their narcissistic partner or a narcissistic parent. And here's why I'm doing this as a very separate topic, as a specific podcast episode, because it may not seem like that big of a deal, but it is. And for those of you who have been in the car with somebody who is coercively controlling and abusive, you know what I'm talking about. And if you're not, this is definitely going to trigger some feelings for you. Hi, everyone. It's Dr. Z. Welcome to another episode of Next Up Narcissism. Today, I'm talking about something very specific to narcissistic abuse. And I just want you to take note that even though it's something that seems very small, the fact that I can speak about it for an entire podcast episode should be telling. And that is driving in the car with your narcissistic partner or narcissistic parent as a child. And the reason why this can be an episode by itself is because it is so significant, and it's such a, no pun intended, vehicle for control by the narcissist. But most importantly, it's extremely dangerous. It's such a dangerous situation to be in. So I want to talk about it. I want to help you identify it. I want to give you strategies for how to navigate it if you're in it, and then how to avoid getting in these situations. So let's talk first about why the car? Why? Why is this something that I'm even bothering to talk about? Well, here's why. We know that people that are coercively controlling, people that are narcissistic, that have narcissistic personality disorder, one of their primary aims is to gain control and power over you, to gain access to your emotions, your thoughts, and your behaviors through whatever means necessary. Their goal is to infiltrate you, right? Their goal is to cause the emotion that you're having, cause you to engage in a certain behavior, cause you to say a certain thing, almost as if they are controlling you, right? With a video game controller. And aside from that, if we put narcissists aside, driving a car, regardless, this is for anybody, is a major sign of independence, right? So when you get your driver's license, that's a huge, huge form of independence. And on the other end of the spectrum, when I've worked with geriatric patients, one of the biggest losses of independence is having their driver's license revoked. It means they now have to depend on somebody when they've been independent their entire life. It means that they have to ask permission to go places. They have to wait on other people's schedules. They have to adjust their own schedules. And so it's not just independence, but it's also being able to live your life the way you want to without having to depend on somebody else, on their schedule, on their mood, right? So if you think about it, because a narcissist's primary goal is to gain control over you and power over you, what better way to do that than a car? So some of you may be listening and saying, all right, I'm so sick and tired of everybody pinning narcissists on everything. Now it's driving. Yes, it's driving. And let me get into why. Let me get into the details why. So first, what I can tell you is that, and I've seen this a bunch of times, when somebody is dating a narcissist, or even a child, let's say an adult child with a parent, one of the things you'll often see, and this happens regardless, but the frequency of it is much higher with those who are interacting with narcissists, I would say 9 out of 10 times when you're dealing with narcissistic abuse, your name is probably not on the ownership of the car or the lease of the car. I guarantee you it's in the other person's name. It's in the narcissist's name. Why? Because now they own the car. Technically, they get to dictate what happens to the car. They can take it. They don't have to answer to you. They can sell it. They don't have to answer to you. They can return it. They can decide to not pay it and have it taken. So I really would say that about 9 out of 10 times, the car is not going to be in your name. Even as an adult child, I see this a lot. The narcissistic parent will couch it in terms of, no, I'll get this for you. I'll buy it for you. Or no, I'll put my name on it. You don't have to worry about it. I'll have the payments come to me. Or you can reimburse me for the car, but I'll have the payments in my name. Okay. And this isn't because of bad credit or anything like that. There's no financial reason that somebody else's name would need to be on the car. Okay. So now you're not even in this situation to make payments for the car because it's not yours. And you can see how, especially in the beginning of a relationship, in the honeymoon phase, in the love bombing phase, it could look like this person is just wants, I just want to take care of you. I'm going to get you a car. Your car is so beat up and it's not trustworthy and you have to drive a long way to work. And I just want to make sure you're safe. Let me get you a car. I'll handle it. Your credit's bad. Don't worry about it. I'll get the car for you. Or even, I just want to help. Let me help. And so it looks like they're doing this because they care, but they're doing this to gain control. So that's how it starts. And then this can transpire into other things, right? It could be threats to take your car away if you don't do what they want to do, right? Well, I'm not going to make the payment, or technically the car's in my name, so I can take it whenever I want. So you never know if the car is going to be available or not. You never know if, you're going to get pulled over because it hasn't been inspected or who knows what. I've seen a million different ways this plays out. The whole function of it being control, manipulation, having you walk on eggshells, and having something that is such a tremendous amount of independence not be in your control. Even though in the beginning it seemed like it was. It seemed like it was, a favor, or they're doing something because they love you and they want to help you and take care of you. That's not the case. So let's switch gears a little bit. The other way that a narcissist uses driving as a way to control and manipulate is to take ownership of your time. And what I mean by that is, let's say that they know you have an important meeting at 9 a.m. and they offer to drive you. They're either going to deliberately be late, or they're going to, and I have seen this, deliberately, quote, get into a fender bender, or magically can't find the keys, right? Accuse you of losing the keys, or not have gas in the car. And I don't mean I have to get gas. All right, I'll just get it in the morning. And then you wake up and you realize, oh my God, I have to get gas. And you're already late. And, I always say, if you have to get gas at night, get it at night, right? Because in the morning, you're going to forget that you need it. But this is done deliberately to make you late. So it's a way to take ownership of your time, because narcissists love to be able to control your time. And what better way to do this than by making you late for something that is extremely important to you? And then if you get frustrated, they'll say, well, you're the one who probably lost the keys, or you knew the gas was low and you didn't fill it up, even though they said that they would do it, right? Or even if they knew that they had to. So they make you late. Or they will purposely, air quotes, purposely get lost. And remember, these are all things that you can't necessarily directly get mad at them for, because it could, quote, happen to anybody. The difference is that it's not happening to everybody. It's happening on purpose to make you late for something that's important. Okay. The other thing that narcissists will routinely do with driving is they will drive recklessly on purpose to scare you. Again, their efforts to control your emotions. But in this case, also, they're also the only ones who can make you feel safe again, or at least give you the illusion of safety again. Because if they're the ones making you late on purpose, they're then the ones that are able to not make you late on purpose. If they are driving recklessly and make you feel unsafe, they're the ones then that can drive calmly and safely to now give you the feeling of safety. So you see how they deliver these really scary, intense emotions and thoughts and scenarios, but then at the same time take them away. So they're simultaneously the abuser and your safety at the same time, which is why this is so unbelievably confusing. So you have somebody who's driving recklessly, right? Let's say that they're speeding, or it's raining and they're driving very unsafe. They're speeding, they're swerving, or they're driving right up behind another car, telling you they're going to kill you. And if you're listening saying that's a little intense, let me tell you something. This happens more than you know with people who are narcissistically abusive. I have had so many people tell me that their narcissistic partner, or even their narcissistic parent, imagine that, threatened to get into a car accident on purpose unless they didn't do something for them or just to scare them. And so now you're pleading and you're begging and you're giving them all this supply and all this attention to try to save your life, to stay safe. That is such a hopeless, helpless feeling, right? Here's another one I get a lot. And I talked about going on a vacation with a narcissist before. I talked about this in a reel that I had posted, and I'm actually going to do an episode on this as well. But needing to go to the airport and purposely being late, or purposely forgetting luggage, or purposely forgetting your passport, and having to race there and race back and cause so much chaos. And you're petrified because they're weaving in and out of cars, yelling at you because you're the one who forgot the passport. So again, it's about making you feel unsafe and then being the only ones to make you safe again. Another thing, they'll purposely drive through unsafe neighborhoods with the windows down and the doors unlocked, making a scene, causing attention to be drawn to you. I've seen this happen with children in the car. And for a parent to put their child in that situation, to scare them on purpose, it's the ultimate form of control and manipulation. I'm going to cause my child intense fear and panic, and at the same time, be the one to rescue them by saying, okay, calm down, we're leaving. Because they're the ones behind the driver's seat, or they're the ones in the driver's seat. They're the ones behind the wheel. They're the ones in the control seat. So it's extremely distressing and confusing for people. Now, let's kind of move towards the intimate relationship, the intimate partner violence aspect of this. Something I see a lot. The car is a place of physical kind of confinement, right? So if you're in the car with somebody and they lock the doors and you have no way of getting out of the car unless they unlock the doors on their side, you're stuck and you're trapped. And that is such a helpless feeling. Yet again, you can't get out. And so now the narcissist not only has control over your behavior, now they're controlling your emotions and your thoughts. You're petrified. You feel helpless. You can't move. You can't escape. You can't go anywhere. And at this point, they may start hitting you. They may start verbally abusing you. They may threaten to not let you out unless you do something for them or say something or admit to doing something that you didn't do or coerce you into doing something sexually for them. They may berate you for hours on long car rides, and there's nothing you can do. You can't get out. You can't scream back because they'll just start abusing you even more, and you're just stuck there. And it's intolerable for people. They may purposely turn the volume up on the radio really loud to either drown out what you're saying or interfere with your ability to sleep if it's a long car ride, or interfere with your ability to make a phone call, or just want to upset you, blasting music. Or argue with you, and then when you say something back, blast the music. I have seen where it's been frigid outside, freezing cold, and they will purposely leave all the windows down, sunroof back, just to make you uncomfortable, just to get you to ask them to please put the windows up. Again, having total control and power over you. And I know, if we think about the car, we don't think about all these things. But when you're in a car at high speeds, moving with no end in sight, not knowing when you're going to stop and not being able to get out, that's extremely scary. I mean, think about that for a second. You're stuck. You can't get out. Where are you going to go? You'll certainly get injured. Another way that the narcissist, again, whether intimate partner, whether friends, whether family member, uses the car as a means of control and power and intimidation and threat, is driving while intoxicated. Whether alcohol, drugs, doesn't matter. But driving while under the influence is something that narcissists routinely do. One, because many have substance abuse problems, but two, because they feel that the rules don't apply to them, right? They're fully capable of driving the way they are. And if you have a problem with it, well, that's on you. They're fine. It's not their problem, it's yours. So they're driving while intoxicated with your kids in the back seat, swerving, getting into accidents, screaming, being physically abusive. Again, while you're trapped and your children are in the back seat, scared to death. Unfortunately, this is probably one of the more common ones that I see. And listen, here's the thing. They're well aware that they're doing all of this. Well aware. The car is a breeding ground for abuse. So I know sometimes people say, well, they don't know what they're doing, or, this is something that, we can't fault them for because there's no way they know they're doing this. Yeah, they do. They know exactly what they're doing, in fact, because the behaviors are so specific. They're so deliberate. They know that car is a very controlled environment for them. They know that. Let's say that you have an event that you need to go to, or better yet, let's say you're going out to dinner with another couple. The entire car ride there, they're abusing you relentlessly, verbally assaulting you. You're hysterical. You don't know what to do. You don't want to go to dinner for sure. And in that short 10-minute car ride to the restaurant, they've done such emotional damage to you. But then you have to get out. And they get out as if nothing happened. And now you need to sit at a dinner table at a restaurant with your friends who know nothing about what goes on behind closed doors, because when they see you, You're holding hands, your arms are around each other, you're laughing, because you know if you don't, well, there's going to be hell to pay when you get home. So now you are forced to have to interact, act happy, act like nothing's wrong. And that's having to switch between this intense verbal assault in a 10-minute period to having to be on at dinner, psychologically, cognitively, is so jarring and so unbelievably confusing. So not only do you have to put on a show that everything's fine, but now you're doubting yourself because look how amazing this person is at dinner now. Maybe it was your fault in the car. Maybe you did overreact. Because how could they go from one extreme to the next? And this is where I say, yes, they know exactly what they're doing. Because even at dinner, they're in total control of your mood and your emotions and your behavior. Because if they weren't, you would be sitting there saying, how the hell can you act like this? You just did this in the car. I'm going home. Screw this. I'm taking an Uber, that kind of thing. So they know what they're doing. It's very, very deliberate. The other thing you'll find too, and I always find this interesting because you would think it would make your life so much more difficult, but they don't really care as long as they can control it. They'll only have one car between the two of you. You work, they work, you have kids. There's only one car, and it's not for financial reasons. It's not because you can't afford another car. It's because they will not allow another car to be in the family. And why? Because if you're going to go somewhere, it's going to be on their watch. You are going to be totally 100% dependent upon them. They don't care if it's the most frustrating, annoying situation ever. They don't care. They just want you to have to be dependent upon them, to ask for rides, to ask permission, to be on constant high alert if they're going to make you cancel your plans. Oh, you have dinner tonight with your friends? Yeah, no, sorry, I'm going somewhere else. Or no, I'm not driving you and you can't have the keys. Because this happens. Days of work are missed repeatedly because they will refuse to take you. Kids' activities, birthday parties, soccer games, doctor's appointments, haircuts, school are missed on purpose because the narcissistic parent will not drive them and will not give the other parent the keys to be able to drive them. So in a sense, they punish the parent by punishing the children, which is a very, as we know, narcissistic move. So, as you're listening to this, and if things are sounding familiar to you, I want you to start to take inventory of when these car situations are used. When do these situations come up for you? Is it when you have something big? Is it when you have to be somewhere at a certain time? Is it where you need to go somewhere that doesn't involve the other person so they're feeling a loss of control? Think about it. Figure out what the pattern is. And so the next question I know is, okay, so what do I do? Well, number one, what I tell people who are in these situations who are not yet able to remove themselves is, don't let them know if you have something important. Let them know you have something, but don't tell them the significance of it so they can't use the importance of it against you. If you need to be somewhere at 12, tell them you need to be there at 11. If you know they routinely make you late. So these are little things that you can do. They're not ideal. I'm well aware of that. Ideal would be to leave the situation, but sometimes it's not possible right away. So these are just some small strategies that you can use temporarily to make sure that you feel a little bit more in control. Ask friends. Carpooling is a huge thing I tell people. Do not take on the responsibility of being the sole driver of your children, let's say. Carpool. And let the people know around you that you're carpooling with that sometimes your driving is not that dependable for whatever reason. Make up whatever reason you want. This way, they can drive your kids places more often so that you're not responsible for making your kids and their kids late. So don't let them know the times. Don't let them know the significance or the importance. If you can get a ride from somebody else, I highly suggest that. As best as you can, try to avoid long car rides with them. Okay. I always tell people to just, if you can, not only don't tell them what time you need to be there or what the occasion is, but if you can manage it, tell them you're going somewhere else, if that won't cause too many problems. Uber, that's something that's totally within your control. If in your situation you can do that. Have somebody you work with pick you up and drive you home. So again, all of these things, again, not ideal, but they're strategies to kind of target the manipulation to give yourself a little bit more control over things. And I know people are going to say, well, so I'm lying? Yes. Yeah, you're going to have to lie. You're going to have to lie to be able to give yourself that freedom of being late or, of not giving up too much of your independence for them to control. Okay. In the car, if you're experiencing verbal abuse on the way to the restaurant, right? Do not engage them. Do not argue with them. Do not give any sort of feedback. Do not engage them. I always say you want to look for the function of the behavior, right? So arguing before the restaurant, clearly the function of the behavior is to control your mood and manipulate you enough so that when you're in the restaurant, you're sad or you're this or you're not able to enjoy yourself or you're walking on eggshells or they know that you're petrified and they know that they cause that and they like that control. Give them nothing. Neutral. Your response should be one of neutrality. Even if inside you are furious, you're scared, you're confused, your response to them needs to be one of neutrality. Say nothing. Do nothing. No eye rolling, no shrugging your shoulders, just a nothingness. Give them nothing. The goal in all of these situations is to be able to take back power, to take the control and give it to yourself. And while you may not be able to directly do that, you can set internal boundaries, right? Like the ones I'm talking about being neutral in these responses, being neutral when they start to pick at you, right? Or if they say, no, I can't drive you there, or no, we can't find the keys, you're going to always have a spare set of keys. These are the types of responses that I'm talking about where it's not ideal, but it's a way to target the manipulation so that you don't get sucked into it. They're going to lose the keys on purpose. Okay, you have a spare set. Now what? Right? So you're going to respond to these things with neutrality and very concrete behaviors, not emotion driven. You're not going to justify or rationalize with them. You're just going to be matter of fact. And I know it seems like these are these tiny little nuanced behaviors, but think about it. If they have so much control over you by saying, I lost your keys, but you have a spare set, well, you can still leave. You can go now. But without that, they have total control over you. So these are just little small tactics, again, not ideal, but in the moment, these are small things that you can use to gain some sense of control and mastery and just gain your independence back in these situations. So I hope that helps. And again, if this is something that you feel kind of you can relate to and maybe you didn't realize this was happening, you just sit with that. Look for the pattern. Look for the patterns. Look for when they do behaviors like this the most. What's happening when they start to use the car stuff, I like to say, against you? What's going on, right? Always identify the pattern, because once you identify the pattern, then you're able to be a couple steps ahead. And this gives you a tremendous sense of independence and a tremendous sense of empowerment. Okay. I have more on this on my courses on my website, my virtual classes. You can download them, drjamiezuckerman.com. And all my information, I have a whole bunch of topics on former podcast episodes. So definitely take a look into them as well. And I will see you all next time on Next Up Narcissism. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Next Up Narcissism. I hope you found it useful, but most importantly, I hope you found it validating. Want to work one-on-one with me? Visit my website at drjamiezuckerman.com to book a personalized coaching session, and be sure to check out my on-demand workshops on topics like co-parenting with a narcissist, life after leaving, anxiety management strategies, and more. Again, that's drjamiezuckerman.com. You'll also find links to my interactive workbooks, merchandise, resources, and newsletter sign up. Next Up Narcissism is as much your podcast as it is mine. I want to hear your feedback and what you want to hear. So make sure to leave a podcast review wherever you listen, or send an email to nextup@drjamiezuckerman.com. Again, that's nextup@drjamiezuckerman.com. Be sure to subscribe so that you never miss an episode. And as always, thank you so much for listening. Make sure to tune in next week to see what's up next on Next Up Narcissism.